All right, hello everyone. My name is Gregory Bowers. I work with USF Housing and Residential Education here at the beautiful University of South Florida in Tampa. This is not a USF Housing Live, but that is coming right up around the corner on Wednesday, February 21st at 7 p.m. It's going to be every Wednesday at 7. We'll have 20 minutes. We'll be live with you from experts from all around campus. And that, of course, is for our current students, current residents, and those who may be considering USF or getting ready for the transition. But tonight's live stream is a little different. This is mainly for our current students who are preparing to select their room for the 2018-19 school year. And so for that, I bring the head honcho, the big cheese, the man with the plan, the amazing David W. Kloiber the first. Dave, how you doing this evening?
Good, Greg. How are you?
I'm well. I'm happy to have you here. It's fun. This is a little more relaxed than doing the big show, right?
Well, a little. The chairs are still rather formal.
I'm sorry. We'll have to get you a nice padded chair or something.
You do. I'm getting on the age.
And so folks, let you know, Dave is our assistant director for assignments, and so the person responsible for making sure that you get into your space, that everything's taken care of for you, all the back end work that goes into our system to make sure we're managing all of our occupancy for our residents. Because remember, we're looking at about 6,000 spaces on campus next year, Dave, right?
That's correct. A little bit over.
A little bit more than 6,000 beds on campus. All right. And so as current students, where can they live next year?
Boy, they can live actually in every building next year.
Awesome. So that's a first. Everything's open.
Everything will be open.
What about Beta and Castor?
Beta and Castor will be available for our returning population for the first time in, boy, since I got here.
Yeah, that's
that
cool.
Seems like forever.
And so for those of you living in Beta Castor, if you want to return to your room, Dave is telling you that yes, they can?
Within reason. I won't have the entire building open just for returners.
Okay.
I will be reserving spaces in every building with the exception of Cypress Apartments C and D for some first years as well.
Okay, and so I imagine some students won't be able to keep their same exact room because of living learning communities and such,
Correct.
Right?
Living learning communities and other new programs that are coming on for next year.
Okay, cool. And so, so folks know also, if you're watching this, we're on YouTube, we're on the Housing Facebook page, and our social media guru, Courtney Cadogan, is sharing this stream into the 2021, 2020, and 2019 groups. So we're monitoring all these sources. If you want to ask us a question, go ahead, type it right in the comments there. They'll send it to me right here on the iPad on the set, and we'll answer you in real time. I see that we're already getting some questions. So Dave, are you ready for me to start firing questions at you?
I'm ready.
All right, so Angie would like to know, when will applications for Holly be available to a current Summit resident? Walk us through that.
Actually, applications have been available for the following fall, for fall 2018, spring 19, since October 1st. And so no matter where you live on campus right now, you can apply for housing for next year.
All right, awesome. And so it's not per community, per building, it's for everyone, right?
Correct.
And what if we happen to have a prospective or an incoming bull watching this? Can they apply for housing for next year?
Yes, they can. As a matter of fact, we've already received almost 1,500 applications.
Cool. And
as
so
of this morning.
When is their room selection? I don't want to cross over. There are 2 room selection periods. So if you're an incoming student, when do you begin to choose your room?
Incoming students, the process for them begins on March 14th, which is a Wednesday. And the reason we wait that long is because orientation doesn't open its reservation process until Monday, March 12th. And so we want to give us a couple of days for first-year students and incoming transfers to reserve their orientation session, which is one of the requirements for the housing application for all of our new students.
Now, for those new students, since we brought it up, just for those who might be watching here, is there any advantage to getting those housing application steps done earlier? Well,
the big advantage is you get to select your room earlier. There can be a lot of competition for those rooms which are more preferred by our students in other rooms. We have a wonderful variety of housing options on campus, and but there's always somebody who maybe wants an apartment. Yes, you can get an apartment on campus with a full kitchen, living room, your own bedroom, and you will be sharing bathrooms in our apartments as well.
And so Dave will not cook for you. I've tried, so
I've
sorry.
cooked for you once.
Dave, the chef, does not come with the apartment, but that would be nice. We can look at adding that in the future here. Yeah. So thank you, Dave. I got another question here. Alexa would like to know, when do returners of the Honors LLC get to choose their rooms?
Their room selection begins at the same time. So all of our room selection process for our incoming students, our current students begins on February 26th, which is a Monday.
Okay, and so I don't confuse anyone, we were taking a moment just to talk about some of our incoming students, but our stream right now talking about current student room selection.
Now,
So
if
Honors
Alexa-
LLC can choose their rooms in the LLC just like everyone else?
Yes.
Okay.
Except they'll have the LOC as their option.
Okay, and so their option will only be the LLC rooms?
Correct. And only those who have been admitted to the LOC for 18-19, which means they have to do that application, and then they'll get an email saying you've been accepted. And I know that, boy, as of last week, I think they already accepted 50 students.
Okay.
And so they are actively working on all those applications right now.
And so if I'm an Honors LLC resident, do I fill out a housing application like everyone else?
Yes, you do. You must fill out the honors or the housing application before you can complete any LLC application.
Well, that's great. So then you can't really miss it then.
No.
All right, that makes it easy. I like that. Got another question here. Hope has asked, are there going to be single suites available in the village? I've been hearing this rumor, Dave. Is this true?
Hope, you have lots of hope. And so we will have a number of single suite rooms available in, I think, all the village buildings, but there'll be a great number of them available in Pinnacle Hall for next year.
And so you heard it here first, folks. The cat is out of the bag. So I've been hearing the same thing in that it's not all final because we're still working through all the logistics to make sure we can have enough space for everyone here on campus. But it is expected there will be a number of single, not just suites, but single traditional rooms available in the village. And so there are also some of those like super suites, those super singles that are even bigger than the singles they may have seen in some of Beacon and Summit spaces. So there's an incredible amount of variety here on campus. And also to let folks know, the hall rates are available. They've been up for a little while now on our website. And so if you're looking at summer housing, that application is not out just yet, but the hall rates are available. All the 2018-19 fall, spring hall rates are available. usf.edu/housing. Choose resources or housing application up top, and you'll see in the sub-navigation there you can choose hall rates and get all of that information. And so, Dave, a question that I've been asking you about lately is there's an update to the room selection process when it comes to putting my friends in the apartment or suite or room with me, that only one of us really needs to log in and do that. So what is that process? If I want to place a roommate in a space with myself, how does it work?
So the process has really been redeveloped for this year. With the new release of our software, now the process, I'm going to say it's more transparent. So let's say the two of us want to be roommates. I can go into the system, say, I want to live with Greg Bowers, this is his U number. And it will actually send you an invite to be in my room.
Like I get an email invite?
You'll get an email invite, which
my USF email?
At your USF email, and then you'll be able to log into the housing portal and accept that invite.
So what if I don't accept the invite? What if I think Dave smells? I'm not doing it this year.
Well,
is there a nice way I can get out of that?
You can just deny it, or you can leave it alone.
Okay.
But I will always see what your response is right now. And so let's say you and I are roommates, and then you decide I smell. And you go in 2 weeks later and say, deny. I'm going to get an email saying that you've denied me. But that's the whole transparency thing. Mm-hmm. So where in the past, we've had to have that uncomfortable conversation that I understand that you've selected somebody, but they may not have selected you. They unfriended you without you being notified. This system will notify you that you've now been unfriended.
Oh, that's nice. So we won't get those calls. I know sometimes we get those calls, and you may have not known that you were unfriended, right? So this kind of helps with that.
Exactly.
And so I should, for the record, state that Dave is not a smelly individual, nor would I make any decision based on Dave being smelly or not. And so I just want to make you feel better, Dave, about being roommates.
Thank you, Greg. It was really hurting my feelings for a minute there.
And so, well, that's great to know. And so I want to give everyone kind of a chance. Some more questions are coming in. I think it's a good time for us to take a very short little break. There's a word out there that starts with D. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it starts with a D. It gets used a lot when we talk about college housing.
Dirty.
It's a dirty word, yeah. Speaking of smelly, we got a dirty word out there. And so do we have that video we can roll for everyone? So we're going to take a very short break. I'm going to be back answering more of your questions with Dave Kluber from Assignments right after this.
I know, she said dorm.
We're on it, okay?
Yes, mm-hmm.
Got it. Yes, sir, I'll release the hounds.
Avoid using the dirty D word. We aren't saying the scene you just witnessed will happen, but we also aren't saying the scene you just witnessed won't happen. In fact, we're barely saying anything at all. While I have your attention, how about you learn about the USF Residence Hall Association?
All right, we are back, everyone. For those of you just joining us, my name is Gregory Bowers. I work with USF Housing and Residential Education here at the beautiful University of South Florida in Tampa. We are streaming live to you from Studio 56 right here in the Central Housing Office with the incredible, edible Dave Kloiber. Dave, from Assignments, you run all the assignments around here, right?
I help.
Right, you sit up in like a castle pulling a lever and people get their rooms, right?
I have a great supporting cast to help me out.
Excellent. So we're answering questions. We're live right now. Type a question in the comments wherever you're watching this, if it's in the group, on our Facebook page, or our YouTube channel. They'll send them to me right here on the set and we'll answer you in real time. So Dave, you ready for another question?
I am.
Okay, and so Hope has asked, what time on February 26th will you be able to pick your room? That is the first day of current student room selection. So how early?
Boy, I was working on that today, actually. We stagger the times for everybody to select. And so what we do is we run a list of how many terms people have lived on campus already, counting fall and spring terms. And so we use that as priority. So those who have lived here longer, they get first pick because they've earned it. We actually had one student who's been here 12 terms living on campus.
All right.
But the majority of our students are 2 or 1 term, or maybe even 3 terms. And so you should be receiving email this week, if not, hopefully tomorrow, with the information on exactly what your time is to start your selection. But the first group will go as early as 10 a.m. on February 26th. Now, I do want to caution you, because the Andros buildings are being closed down, those 468 residents, I believe it's 400. Let me do quick math. 132 times 4 is?
Now, live, we are watching in real time Dave Kloiber
528.
do math problems. Earn that degree, Dave.
I have a history degree, 2 of them.
And so, as the host, I am legally barred from doing any math on camera, so I can't help you there.
Those 528 students actually get the first 4 selection times.
Awesome. So if you're an Andros resident, you heard it here first. Because you're not going to have Andros as an option next year, you get first dibs on housing for next year, right?
That's correct.
And so they'll all get to go as long as they're eligible, which means housing application is complete, $50 application fee paid, then they can select on the first day, right?
Correct.
What's the deadline to get that application fee paid and application complete?
You want to get that application completed and paid for by Thursday, the 22nd of February.
And so that is the Thursday right before room selection,
Correct.
right? All right, excellent.
That'll give us time to process the receipt of the payment and make sure that your application is ready to go. Now, if you are someone who doesn't select till Tuesday or Wednesday, you have a little bit of extra time. And even if your selection time is Monday, you just won't be able to begin until we process that payment.
Okay, and so folks know, make sure you keep checking your USF email because we've been sending weekly reminders. We have one that's going out at 6 p.m. today, another reminder. It's got links to the room selection page with all the details. So everything we're talking about here, you can see there. The details on choosing your roommate and unit mates, that's not on the site, but that should be by the end of this week, right, Dave?
Yes, it will be.
So we'll have all that out there. Dave was telling me some students have already been using that system, so it sounds pretty easy to use.
It is. It's very intuitive.
All right, excellent. So I like that. I got another question here. Oh, this is a disappointing question, but Cordy sent it, said Eduardo asked, what does Gregory Bowers think about the Patriots losing the Super Bowl? And so your host is a big Patriots fan.
I don't think you thought it was wicked cool.
And so it was not as wicked awesome as I thought it was going to be, Dave. I was wicked disappointed, as were all of my family and friends back in New England. But you know what? I think America wanted to see someone other than the Patriots take it home, and so I hope America was happy with that.
It was the Eagles' first victory.
And so good for them. We'll be back next year. That's what I have to say about that. And so it's just a matter of time. Now back to our room selection questions. Jenna would like to know, how do you know when you'll be able to pick a room? And so someone completes the application right now. I know we've covered it, but for those new viewers, I do the application, I pay the fee. When do I find out when my start time is to actually select?
Well, we're actually going to send out the start times to every student that lives on campus this week. That's 5,430 students.
Regardless if they've completed the application?
Regardless, because I want everybody to know this is the time I can actually start selecting if I take care of everything I need to. And all that information will be in the email.
Okay, that keeps
and again,
it simple then.
USF email.
Now, will it let someone know that they are able to select, they're eligible or not eligible?
We'll be following up with emails about what might be missing as we get closer and closer. And for those of you who aren't going to be selecting a room, unfortunately, we will follow up with you just in case something changes, and that way you have the information immediately at hand.
All right, excellent. So everyone knows, just keep checking your USF email. Best thing you can do, definitely. And so room selection is starting again for those of you just joining us. That is Monday, February 26th. And so that's going to be, that's just 3 weeks from today. And so right around the corner. But I always like to remind folks, getting these steps done earlier is always better, because if you're doing it the last day, what if a payment doesn't make it through right in time and you had that first day to select? We don't want to see you get delayed. We want to see you be able to get in there anytime to select your room. And so that leads me to my next question here. If I have, let's say, 10 a.m. on Monday, February 26th as my room selection time, how long does that stay open for me?
It stays open till Friday at noon.
Okay, so I have all week then to select.
Right, but once you select, you've selected. You don't get to go back in and change your mind. We will open up a room change period later on, beginning in March, but not until we figured out where everybody is. So it's only fair that if you've taken up one room, we're not going to let you change your mind and take a different room, because somebody may have been looking at that room that you already took and then picked something else. And
Okay, that's
so
good to know. So if I'm the person that chooses, once I've selected, I brought my friends in, that's it. I can't go back in and add my friends in later?
Nope.
And so let's say not everyone was ready. 3 of us out of the 4 planning to live in that apartment were good. I added 2 of my friends. We got a 4th friend out there who wasn't eligible. How do we get him into our space? How do we do that?
You got to get him to get his stuff done on time so that you can all select, or you've got to roll the dice, and hopefully that other bed in that apartment will be available when it comes time for him or her to select.
Okay, that's good to know. And let's say though, I'm too lazy. I just got tired. I forgot, dog ate my computer. I just didn't get around to it. And sometimes busy schedules, someone misses an email, and you're in that situation where, oh no, room selection happened this week. Can I live on campus? What happens to me?
We'll reopen the whole process beginning the same time as we reopen it for our first-year students. And
that's room selection. They'll be able to do room selection?
Yep, our first-year students will go through room selection for their own process later on, beginning in March, and we'll reopen the process for our continuing students as well.
And just devil's advocate here, I got to ask, is there any advantage then to doing room selection in February versus waiting for March?
Well, we are going to continue to monitor as we hold some rooms aside. Let's say we hold a block of rooms in the apartments for upper class students. And then we notice that they're all gone. There's still people looking for apartments. Maybe we'll open a few more. But if you wait and we don't open those because we don't see the demand, then the freshmen will get first shot at them. And so then it'll be an up for grabs. And so we do very much monitor what's available, what can we release more of, in order to really try to make everybody as happy as possible.
Sooner is always better.
Yeah.
And so remind your students, please make sure, get those applications done early. Yeah, you want to get in that first round of room selection.
Especially those singles with suites.
Those are going to go fast, I bet. Students want to get a single room.
We had a lot of interest in them this fall, and I didn't think we would. I valued living with a roommate, but a lot of our students right now, they don't. They'd rather live alone.
The roommate. You have a roommate, it's nice to have someone there for you. This is flu season. Some of us may have gotten sick and realized there's a lot of value to having that person there who can help you out, grab some food for you, and help get you through that illness. And so that's one reason of many. I always remind students that one of the great things of having a roommate is it prepares you for that time. You'll have a partner for life, your friend till the end, and you've got to learn to live together. And interestingly enough, the roommate experience kind of trains you for that. It's kind of your pre-partnership training for life by living in the residence hall. So I find that to be very helpful.
It also gives you another place to go eat dinner.
That's true, absolutely. And so we're going to take another short little break here. If you've got any questions, want you to know, send them to us right in the comments. They'll send them to us right here on the set. And so we're going to be back, more live question and answer time with Dave Kloeber from Assignments after this.
Imagine a job where work feels more like fun, where you can enrich the lives of residents and be closely involved with the USF community. A job that allows you to build your skill set and learn every day. Imagine working with a department that staffs over 300 student employees. With USF Housing and Residential Education, you don't have to imagine. Apply today.
All right, welcome back everyone. My name is Gregory Bowers with USF Housing and Residential Education. For the best place to live, the best place to work, and the best place to learn. Coming to you from Studio 56 on the USF Tampa campus in our central housing office. I am here with the tallest man that works in our office, Dave Kloeber. Dave, how are you doing this evening?
Very good. Thank you, Greg.
Are you having fun here in round 3 answering some questions?
I always have fun with you.
Excellent. Glad to have you here. And so Dave will be joining us, so you know, for USF Housing Live Season 4. USF Housing Live Season 4 premieres 7 p.m. Wednesday, February 21st. We'll be going live that same time and day of the week every week until our last episode, episode number 24, on Wednesday, August 8th at 7 p.m. And that's going to be for all of you considering USF, considering living on campus. Those of you who currently live on campus, we're going to have experts from all over the place, student organizations, different area offices to help prepare you for your experience, or if you're a current student, to learn more about what's actually going on here on campus for you. And so we're going to have info for absolutely everyone. We really hope you'll join us. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to have 24 episodes, our biggest season ever, all of it starting 7 p.m. Wednesday, the 21st. And so another question here, Liz asked, how and where can students apply for jobs? Not a room selection question, but a very valid question. Dave, I want to get a job as a student. Where do I go?
Start by going to the careers website, usf.edu/careers, I believe it's the actual address. And you'll be able to search through all the jobs that are available on campus. Matter of fact, I think we're about to wrap up our RA selection process, which brings up another point which I'll get back to later. But definitely go there and search through the listings, and definitely use the Career Center in order to get help in getting that first job on campus, because they're there to help you, and you've got all those resources. Why waste it?
Excellent. Yeah, we're actually going to have a guest on Housing Live talking a lot about the Career Center resources. And so it's not just to get you ready for your career, but to also help prepare you with your resume, with a cover letter, and that can help you get a campus job here. So Google is your friend, folks. USF Careers, go right to the Careers at USF website, and you can actually search for jobs. And so while I'm here talking to everyone, I should mention the marketing team is actually hiring. We're looking for right now a graphic designer. You're really into graphic design, you use Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. If you know those 3 programs and you just love being creative, consider applying. And so we've got that job posted right now. It's $10.62 an hour. I don't know the job ID off the top of my head, but I know that we've posted in all of the USF class groups and on the Housing and Residential Education Facebook page. And so you can get all the specifics there. But we're looking for a graphic designer and a public relations assistant. One of the jobs that person gets to do is work with us right here on the set, sending questions to our host when we do these Q&As. And so it's just one of the many jobs you'll do, dealing with social media, overseeing our tours and all that. So if you want to be a graphic designer or you want to be a public relations assistant working in social media, you should definitely check out those opportunities with Housing and Residential Education. You got any jobs over in Assignments we should know about, Dave?
I think we just hired 3 people.
We just hired everyone? Okay, so sorry, but stick around.
Summer's coming.
If you were watching that site, you'll see all those jobs come up. A lot of summer jobs will open up. And if we happen to have any incoming bulls, letting you know that once you're admitted to USF and you see a job that's going to be opening up in the fall, you can apply to that before you even start
Certainly
here.
can.
So if you want to seek employment, you can do it before you even set foot on campus for your first day of classes. And so pretty cool thing to know. Oh, I think they might be sending me job IDs right here. Thank you, Courtney. We might be getting those in just a moment. Dave, before we wrap up, is there anything in particular we need to be communicating? Just a reminder for any of our students getting ready for that current student room selection opening on the 26th.
I think one of the big things to remember is, like I mentioned a minute or so ago, the RA selection process is wrapping up, but if you're not sure you're going to be an RA, but you definitely want to live on campus, you really should consider getting that application completed for for housing and being ready to participate. I can't talk anymore. To participate in room selection, because you don't want to miss out on that great room. And even if you are selected as an RA, we'll refund that $50 application fee, even though you've already selected a room.
All right, excellent. Good to know. Dave, thank you so much for your time. Will you come back and do this with us again?
I think I'm scheduled a few times.
You are scheduled. Good. And so, trick question. Dave will be back soon. Absolutely.
3 times.
Will be 3 times this season?
I believe it's only 3 times this year.
And so we used to have Dave every other episode, so just a few now, because honestly, you've made the process a lot easier, much more intuitive, as you mentioned. And so really appreciate that. I know the students appreciate it. Keeps it really easy. For those of you out there looking for work, I got the job IDs just sent in by Courtney, our PR professional here. And so, public relations assistant with our team, if you go to Careers at USF, search for job ID 15848. If you want to apply for our graphic designer position, that job ID is 15849. So you can search those, very easy. Shameless plug. Come join our team. It's a whole bunch of fun. And of course, you'll have the opportunity to work on USF Housing Live. You'll get to see Dave too, but you know, as exciting as that might be, but you get to work on USF Housing Live. Dave, you're always a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this with us today.
Anytime, Greg.
And so, again, for those of you just joining us, watch the recording. We answered all kinds of questions you may have not thought to ask. For more information about room selection, go to usf.edu/housing, choose housing application, then application process. It'll ask you if you're a current student or a new student, and all the information will be presented for you so you know what you need to do to get ready to choose your room here on campus.
And how would they contact us?
Oh, I like that. It's a shameless plug for the email address. So, got a question? Use your USF email so we know it's you. Email housing@usf.edu. I'm Gregory Bowers with USF Housing Residential Education. We are the best place to live, the best place to work, and the best place to learn. I can't wait to see you all join us here on campus and live the Bulls life.